Who are you? That is potentially the question of our lives, worth all of our time, money, and energy to figure out, beat out only, in my personal opinion, by the question of who is Jesus. In part 2 of I Can't Hear You, Buck dove into that very question, and it's the same question I found myself asking at the beginning of my freshman year of college 4 years ago. When I first stepped onto the campus at UT, it took me about 2 minutes to realize that who I was, what my grades were, and anything that I had accomplished in high school was a wash in this new stage of life, and any identity I found in those things instantly disappeared. As a result, I was asking this question on a very deep level of who am I? Like, who am I really? Fortunately for me, that was the same time that I found the book Abba's Child by Brennan Manning, and it has helped me come as close as I have ever been to truly discovering the answer to that question. I now personally read it yearly because it is that foundational for me to center myself around my core identity. Abba's Child became famous for its description of our imposter. The imposter is a false identity, and it's the one that all of us try to operate out of almost every day of our lives. The imposter, simply defined, is this: you are what you do. Meaning your imposter tells you that your actions determine who you are. So you are defined by your performance or lack thereof. This means that you're defined by your worst mistake, your worst day. Your imposter makes you feel like a failure, like you're never enough. And you always need to hide who you really are from others so that nobody ever figures that out. This can be big or small, but when we operate out of our imposter, we are defined by our job title, the house we live in, the car we drive, our weight, our height, our number of Instagram followers, how pretty, how athletic, or how perfect our family seems. But it's all based on an image that isn't real, and it's absolutely exhausting. It will leave you empty. You're either trapped by a past failure, or you feel like maybe you're not content because you're just not good enough, so you just keep chasing. But what if none of those things are who you really are? What if none of those things are your actual identity? What if it's so much better than that? Brennan Manning says in his book, define yourself radically as one loved by God. Every other identity is an illusion. I want to say that again. Define yourself radically as one loved by God. Every other way we define ourselves will leave us empty. This means that when you fail, your identity is just not threatened. This means that when you're embarrassed, critiqued, made fun of, given feedback, your identity is still not threatened. This means that you don't have to do more, make more, achieve more, get skinnier to improve your standing, because none of those things have any bearing whatsoever on your identity. If you're anything like me, I think when I have a good moment, when people see the good side of me, that people aren't seeing the real me, because the real me is, well, a mess. But what if it was the opposite? What if the real you is beautiful, strong, courageous, because God is in you and He has made you? Galatians 5 says that the fruit of the Spirit, or the result of living out of this identity, is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. What if when you exhibit those qualities, that's your true self, and the ugly part of you that you don't want anyone to see, what if that's the deviation from who you really are? See, this is a complete paradigm shift. We tend to think we're messed up people who occasionally get lucky and do a good thing. But if people knew the real us, well gosh, they wouldn't like us at all. But when you place your trust in Christ, you are a brand new creation who occasionally acts the way you used to act, but nothing can shake your core identity that you are loved by God. Ultimately, my hope is that you would find your way of reminding yourself of that every day, perhaps in the early hours of the morning, maybe even pick up your own copy of Abba's Child. But this is a process that is a continual journey of recognizing and living out of your true identity, and it's so worth pursuing the rest of your life.